Hello, my lovely witches. This is Debunking the Narrative Wicca. Now, for those who don't know, witchcraft is not a universal magical practice. The words witch and witchcraft are not universal words. Witchcraft is the oldest religion in the world and the indigenous religion of Western Europe. The religion of witchcraft is at least 32,000 years old. We have the archaeology, we have the history, we have the cave paintings. This is not negotiable. It's a fact. Here are some more facts. Wicca is not a religion. It is a postmodern Marxist feminist cult from the 1950s. Some witches date Wicca to 1957, but hey. Wicca was designed to kill off witchcraft and replace witchcraft. The game was to kill off witchcraft, replace it with the ancient religion of Wicca, and of course this is Marxism. The same thing is going on with feminism, because feminism is a Marxist movement anyway. But the one problem with Wiccans is they're profoundly stupid and profoundly uneducated. They never looked at the history of the religion they were trying to kill off. We witches spent 900 years mind-fucking the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church in Europe. We twisted it around and had them murder 9 million of their own people. Very few of the victims of the witch hunts were actually witches. Most were Christians. So we've done the same thing with Wicca the past 25, 30 years, and Wicca is splintering into smaller and smaller groups, more feckless groups. Here's a list of different forms of witchcraft. English, French, Russian, German, Italian, Greek, Welsh, Scottish, Irish, English. Gardnerian witchcraft, Valiente witchcraft, amongst others. Now here's a list of the different forms of Wicca. Christian Wicca, Jewish Wicca, Atheist Wicca, Buddhist Wicca, Dominatrix Wicca, believe this or not, and the Zinger Neo-Nazi Wicca. Clearly, Wicca is a parasitic ideology, and it can't live on its own. It's a cancer, which needs to be cut out of the human condition. But the idea that Wiccans thought they were going to take us witches down is just, it's just precious. I mean, I just want to hug the Wiccans until they stop breathing, you know? I hate those people. But the past 25, 30 years, pagans have removed the word witchcraft from their magazines, newspapers, websites, their books, because that was preparing the next generations to never see the word witch or witchcraft. Now, all of a sudden, about the past 10, 15 years, 20 years maybe, the word witch and witchcraft are synonymous with being a universal magical practice. Everyone and their brother call themselves a witch. If you got a henna tattoo and a spice rack, you're a witch today. And this is what we're fighting against, because Marxism, like I said, destroys what's here and replace it with their own agenda. Wicca is not a religion. And it's a dying ideology, really. Like I said, it's splintering into smaller and smaller groups. It can't sustain itself. No real religion takes Wicca seriously. And this is where we witches come in. We have to get on the internet. We have to get on YouTube and make videos about debunking Wicca, paganism, druidism, debunking it. I spent 2 years being attacked daily on Tumblr by over 400 pagan bloggers These people threatened my life, the lives of my children, my elderly mother. At first they tried to brainwash me into believing that I was the only one to ever believe that witchcraft was a religion. You're the only one to ever believe that, Autumn. You're the only one. See, now they assumed that I was a young witch full of piss and vinegar. They didn't realize that I had been practicing witchcraft for decades. It took me 2 years to get my boot on the back of their fucking necks. But I did it. Now I'm writing a book completely destroying Wicca, pagans, Christian witches, druids. The book is going to be a bombshell if I can get it published. Might as well start on druids now. Druids never existed in ancient times. This is an anthropological fact. The druid cult, or the druid religion of today, begun in the late Victorian era, the Celtic revival. Now, the word druid is not Gaelic. It's not Gaelic, it's not Anglo-Saxon, it's not Celtic. The word druid is Latin. That's the first key that tells us that druids never existed. When the Romans started to meet with the Celts, the British and the Irish and the Scots, they didn't have the word Celt, witch, or witchcraft because these three words belong in Western Europe, not in the Mediterranean. So the Romans, when they recorded the meetings with the Celts, they used the only word that they could, the only words that they had in Latin, which was druid. Once the Latin went to Old English and then later into modern English, the word druid just sort of stuck because whoever was translating, it wasn't their job to catch mistakes, it was their job to translate. But druid the word druid never was not used in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years until the Celtic revival, the late Victorian era. Druids did not leave one shred of their existence behind. They never existed. Plain and simple. Now, paganism. Oh, where the hell do I begin with this pot of hot mess? On Tumblr, morons told me, the religion isn't called witchcraft, it's called pagan. Oh, my God. These people are, the pagan community is a money laundering cult. I've noticed you can be a high priest of Wicca one year and be a high priest of Satanism the next. The priesthood of Wicca and Druids and Satanism and Christian witchcraft and all of this nonsense is just all interchangeable because paganism is one massive mental illness. According to pagans, Satanism is a pagan religion. Christianity is a pagan religion. How can Christianity predate itself? I have neither a clue. The word pagan comes from the Latin plagani, rustic or country people. Now, the Catholic Church started calling the country people, the ones out in the hills and out in the sticks and the boonies, pagans, plagani, because they were so hard to convert to the church because they were just so far out. So they just started calling them pagans, the word that they had to use because it's Latin. Later, the church started associating pagans, plagani, with witches and witchcraft because most of the people out in the hills, they couldn't be converted to Christianity. So that's where witchcraft and pagan are connected. Once archaeology came along, the archaeologists started using the word pagan to refer to a religion, culture, or belief system that was pre-Christian. How Christianity and Satanism can predate themselves, I have no clue. It's amazing how paganism can work, or this pagan community. It's basically full of misogynists. I'll go into that on a different video because it's just far too much to get into. But there are millions of dollars flowing through the pagan community, and most of these people have church status, so they don't have to pay taxes, and it's a scheme. Witchcraft is not accepted in the pagan community because it's not a religion. I've been fighting with these people for 25 years, at least. And pagans are so profound and educated. I know I'm rambling, trying to collect my thoughts. Pagans are so profoundly uneducated and stupid. I can't believe it. But vampirism runs rampant in the pagan community. Poly relationships, which is basically swingers. They're the most disgusting people. Nudists. Now, if you have to walk around naked in front of my kids, you got a problem. And that problem is me, motherfucker. But these people are filthy. They're just absolutely filthy. And I can say that because I have no pagan friends. I have no Wiccan friends. I have no Druid friends. The few pagans I do know, they'll understand. But paganism, Wicca, and Druids never existed outside of the Victorian era. Witchcraft is the only religion that is pagan, truly. Of course, now we have groups that like heathens, the Scandinavian. There are groups that are ancient and they are pagan. But I don't consider them pagan because I'm not going after them. I'm going after the pagan community. Members and groups of the pagan community are trying to steal the history of witchcraft. Heathens and the Scandinavian share a history with witchcraft because their religions, cultures were going on at the same time as witchcraft was going on. So it's a shared history. I'm not sure where else to go with this, because I said it's a rant, but I wanted to get some information out there so I don't lose followers on YouTube. I'm sorry I haven't gotten more videos out, but I'm trying to. It's just amazing how uneducated these people are. The left-hand path. Now, you ask a pagan what the left-hand path is, and it's the path of magic and Satanism and darkness. It's bullshit. The left-hand path literally means goddess worship. That's where it comes from. The Catholic Church turned the goddess in deviless, I don't know, a demon, whatever, and they deemed the left-hand path as the path of evil. That's where it comes from. But actually, it's the path of the goddess because the divine mother goddess will always sit or stand at the left hand of her god. This is also why left-handed people, like myself, by the way, are considered evil, because we are left-handed. Actually, there's a painting of Queen Elizabeth Tudor, who, by the way, was a witch, like her mother. In this painting, she clearly states in the symbolism that she is a witch. I'll do more on this because I want to research the painting. But Tudor has a snake on her left arm, and in the mouth of the snake is a heart-shaped ruby. Now, I thought the phone went dead. Now, the snake has always been a symbol of witchcraft. And there's a very good reason why the Virgin Mary has at her feet, because the image of the Virgin Mary is actually the image of Diana, the Virgin Queen. I'll go into that in another video. Elizabeth has a snake coiled on her left arm with a heart-shaped ruby in its mouth. That is a clear statement to her mother's people. One of you, my heart is with the goddess. Because Elizabeth Tudor loved propaganda. And in the same painting, she's wearing a robe that has eyes and ears all over the robe. There was a clear statement. I see everything you do. I hear everything you say. And like I said, the snake on the arm. But the left-hand path is the path of the goddess, not Satanism, not dark magic. And like I said, these people are so profoundly uneducated. Oh, I don't know where to go after this. I think I'm coming down with a cold. Oh no. But I started my war on Wicca back in the early 90s when I realized that these people were out to get us. The conical witch hat, which reminds me of the 90s. The symbol of the Broomstick Alliance of Central New York, founded in 1989, a Witchcraft Anti-Defamation League. The logo is a crone flying on a broomstick with a pointed witch hat. Pagans started to get involved in the Broomstick Alliance and decided that on themselves that they were going to change the logo because that image was thrust upon us by the Christians. That's when I booted their asses out. But anyway, the conical witch hat has been worn by us witches at least 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. We know this because British mummies have been found in the Silk Roads of China, and some of them wearing tall, pointed, conical hats. We witches have all the archaeology, all the anthropology, and all the history on our side. We are the oldest race of this planet. All you got to do is read the books. I'll put a book list down below for anyone who is just starting to practice the craft and don't want to waste money on books. Because when I first started practicing in 1983, I spent a lot of money on garbage books that served no purpose. Until a witch named Bonnie D, who worked at a local New Age shop, set me straight. She said, read Doreen Valiante's books. She's a fabulous witch. And she really set me on the right path as far as reading. So I'll put a list down for you. We witches will win. We will take out Wicca, and we will take out the pagan community, and Druids. Oh, please, Druids, they're worthless. And the way I see it, if you're not receiving death threats, then you're not doing your job. Which, actually, I don't know about you, but I frame my death threats. I print them out and frame them and remind myself that I'm pissing people off. I am doing damage to the pagan community. I'm doing damage to Wicca, so... But anyway, I've ranted long enough. So I'll stop here. Blessed to be. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.